saying DDG files to stop Halle Bailey from leaving country with son, claims she's a risk to herself and infant, okay? So it says DDG has filed an emergency motion to stop Halle Bailey from taking their infant son out of the country, claiming she poses an imminent emotional and psychological risk to the child. The rapper filed a docs Wednesday morning, asked for an emergency hearing because he says Halle has made plans to fly with their son Halle to Italy on Saturday. DDG says the court shouldn't allow this because Halle isn't mentally healthy enough to care for herself and their child, and he worries about what she might do if she leaves the court's jurisdiction.
With both sides claiming to be the victims of a complicated scenario that has progressed to the point where they are seeking restraining orders against one another, the co-parenting drama between DDG and Halle Bailey has taken a tragic turn. Now that Halle is the target of serious accusations from DDG, who claims that she poses an immediate emotional and psychological risk to both herself and their son Halo. They want the court to reject her request to take their son abroad due to the possible harm to both of them. DDG has taken a brave step by filing an emergency motion against Halle Bailey in an attempt to stop her recent request to take their 17-month-old son, Halo, to Italy for work. He alleges that Bailey poses an immediate emotional and psychological risk to both herself and their child, arguing that if Halo were to leave the country, he would not have access to the court's protections or any available emergency intervention mechanisms. This motion was filed shortly before a temporary physical and legal custody arrangement Halle had obtained against him expired in court documents. DDG expresses serious concerns about Hal's mental health, claiming that she is not in a stable enough state to care for herself or their son. He fears that if she were to travel outside the court's jurisdiction, she might injure herself, which would ultimately put Halo at risk to support his claims. DDG provides examples of specific incidents that he feels demonstrate his troubling behavior. He describes a frightening incident in which she took his gun and fled their home without telling him where she was going. When he finally located her, she was outside, clearly upset, and holding the gun. Notably, he notes that Halle was pregnant at the time of this incident. Additionally, DDG claims that Halle once tried to have an abortion without telling him, but ultimately decided against it. His worries are heightened when he discloses that, in response to DDG's emergency motion, Halle wrote him a string of frightening texts 2 months after Halo was born, threatening to commit suicide and raising the possibility that their baby son was also in danger. Halle Bailey quickly requested permission from the court to take Halo overseas for work-related reasons, and she is also asking the court to issue an order prohibiting DDG, his family and friends from posting about their son, the ongoing custody battle, and her on social media. DDG and Halle Bailey have been attempting to outsmart each other by filing emergency motions to claim full custody of their child on the day that Halle Bailey's temporary physical and legal custody of their son expired. But DDG has suffered a setback when his request for a temporary restraining order against Halle was denied, giving her the freedom to take their child abroad for personal or professional reasons. This is undoubtedly making DDG angry, and their accusations and counter-advertisements of domestic abuse have only made matters worse. Co-parenting their son is still the main source of contention between DDG and Halle, despite the fact that both of them seem to have moved on to new relationships since their breakup. The co-parenting drama began as soon as DDG announced the end of their relationship, saying he was committed to being in his child's life but hadn't spent much time with him recently. He also disclosed that he is not a deadbeat because he couldn't be a dad when he wanted to just say,
I want to see my son, that's it. And I ain't been able to see him when I want to see him. I'm just treated like, I think the nanny get treated better than.
DDG spent some time in the recording studio venting about his custody situation after he was dissatisfied with his online videos about Halle denying him access to his child. In the new song, Don't Take My Son, he alleges drama with Halle and claims not to have full access to their son with the line, "Don't take my son because he's all I got. I'm just having fun. I don't love these thoughts." DDG's loyal supporters came together in the midst of the controversy and dispute, launching the hashtag #SheFreeHalo as a show of support and unity. Despite her later apology for going public on the issue, Halle denied these accusations and scowled at DDG for showcasing their child on well-known live streams without her permission. She also accused DDG of repeatedly crossing boundaries, which further exacerbated tension between the two in a shocking turn of events. DDG told his parasocial admirers to cease posting their thoughts in a video that he posted on X. He also said that he had spoken to his son and that Halle was free. Therefore, everything was okay.
All right, we're gonna start the day off good, y'all. I talked to my son this morning. All you parasocials, y'all can stop your think pieces now. I talked to my son today, we're good. Can y'all stop saying free Halle? Halle is free, y'all.
The co-parenting drama between DDG and Halle Bailey eventually spiraled out of control, despite DDG telling his parasocial fans to stop their think pieces. According to court documents, shocking accusations and divergent accounts have emerged from both sides in this full-fledged legal custody battle. She claims that their co-parenting disputes have turned violent, alleging that DDG physically assaulted her by forcefully pulling and slamming her against the steering wheel, resulting in her chipping a tooth. She has provided evidence of bruises and marks on her body, which she attributes to what she describes as a wrestling match between them. In stark contrast, DDG offers a different account of the incident. He asserts that he arrived to pick up their child, Halle, for his scheduled custodial time when Hicks unexpectedly jumped into his back seat. He claims she demanded they establish a formal co-parenting schedule, and as tensions escalated, she became increasingly agitated, allegedly jumping from the back seat to hit him. According to DDG, her momentum caused her to accidentally hit her head on the steering wheel. He maintains that he was the true victim in the situation, even presenting a photo of a large cut on his hand, which he alleges was inflicted by Halle during their altercation. The drama continued after that. Halle also claims that weeks after the event, DDG violated her privacy by breaking into her house without her consent, sending her a message with an image of her empty bed and the phrase, "Now I know what you've been on LOL." A few days later, DDG returned to Halle's house, and this time their encounter swiftly escalated. He became verbally abusive, eventually grabbing her phone and throwing it out of his car window while yelling, "Go get it, bitch." He took this as an accusation that she was having sex with other men. He filed a police report during this time after DDG took to social media to vent his frustration at his ex about his difficulties seeing his child, Halle. When he was on vacation in St. Lucia with Halle and her sister, DDG allegedly sent her links to social media posts implying she was on the island with singer Brent Faiyaz. The situation reached a breaking point, and he admitted, "I realize that there is no placating Dalel. I cannot allow this abuse any longer. I cannot keep living like this. I never know when he is going to demand our son be in his mother's care, and whether I will face his threats and abuse in response to these concerning developments." Given that DDG's prior online behavior has caused a great deal of controversy and fan frenzy, the judge issued a temporary domestic violence restraining order against him, requiring him to keep 100 yards from Halle and to refrain from posting or streaming about Halle and their child. Whenever he wishes to cause upset, he starts bad-mouthing me to his several million fans, claiming I'm withholding our son and that I'm with other men. As a result, I then receive threats and hate on social media, she said, adding that she also asked that DDG be prohibited from using his platforms on Twitch and YouTube to incite his followers against her. Despite these legal limitations, DDG has also been instructed not to hold any firearms, which further emphasizes how severe the issue is. DDG has struggled to comply, as seen by a recent YouTube video in which he sobbed as he dealt with the restrictions placed on him by the gag order, underscoring the significant effects this circumstance has had on his personal life and mental health.
What's up, y'all? Y'all see me?
Y'all can see me or no?
Fans, meanwhile, are still sharply divided over their co-parenting drama. While some strongly sympathize with he and see DDG's actions as manipulative and vindictive, others contend that Hal's alleged career interference makes her equally guilty. However, observers generally agree that DDG's unpredictable public behavior is seriously harming his reputation, which contrasts sharply with Halle Bailey's more tactful and calculated responses. Despite the initial appearance of an amicable breakup between DDG and Halle Bailey, their attempts at co-parenting have taken a troubling turn. Instead of having a mature conversation to work out their differences, they find themselves entangled in a toxic conflict marked by alarming allegations of physical violence. Since both of them are claiming to be victims, this circumstance has resulted in domestic violence, restraining orders, and the potential for a drawn-out legal custody dispute. Since it appears that their drama will not be ending anytime soon, DDG's accusations of emotional coercion and manipulation pose a psychological risk to both herself and their child. Begs the disturbing question of whether DDG and Hai will ever think twice about settling their differences amicably and co-parenting. We would want to know what you think about this complex topic, so please leave a comment below. Thank you for watching, and check back soon for more updates on this ongoing story.